Okay, ready, Fritz? So with Mr. F, we're gonna try and work a little bit with our paws up. Ready? And he's a little bit flustered today. There's been a few funny noises like I mentioned earlier. Nice. So with the paws up or step up, I like to go ahead and get my feet comfortable with the bowl. So if let's say your babe's a little bit unsure about it, I do sometimes like to just feed a couple little snacks over the item. That way the bowl could be the bringer of the good, had a few extra goodies on it. So I want to see if Mr. Handsome can offer his little paws up on the bowl. Again, if he has never done this as often, or if this is new to him, we're going to go ahead and feed him for any little attempt. So for example, it could be him poking it with his toenail, or touching it slightly with his nose. I want him to think there's value in trying anything near the bowl. If again, he's a little bit unsure, right? I know there's a few little noises, like there's been some motorcycles going by and they've startled him a little bit. It's a little bit more noise sensitive right now. Sometimes as your puppies are developing, they're gonna go through little fear periods potentially. Some babes are more sensitive to sounds. So it is one of those things, if your babe does have trouble with certain noises, right? I'd recommend to, on Spotify, there is some great playlists available. If your dog is scared of Mack trucks or big trash trucks, I wouldn't start off with those big noises, but I'd start with some other random sounds that don't incite sort of fear response. You'd want to play it at a very, very low volume while doing fun things with your pup. So that way the noises can start to get paired with the training or play session. So it'd be quiet enough where your pup could notice it, but not get too overwhelmed by the situation. So now as Mr. F's getting more comfortable, I'm gonna see if I can get him to actually target this flat target. I did the same thing with Mr. R, so with Roy, he was a little bit unsure about the bowls. So we started first with targeting this flat target. Ready, Fritz? So I'm gonna lure him, yes, whenever he targets the mat with his front feet or any foot really, I want him to think, yes, that there's value in doing a paws up or step up behavior. There goes the motorcycle again, a little spooky. So if he gets a little bit nervous, just like before, we do try to create some of those movement moments for him, where he gets up and wiggles. That makes him feel less trapped, even though he may still be on equipment or stuck in a home. So if, for example, one second, I'll be right there, okay? So let's say, for example, we're trying, ready, Fritz? We might get his attention. I know there's a little truck going by again. Right here as he targets the mat, yes, and feed. Then as he's getting comfortable targeting the flat mat, he's like, look, but I'm still on it. We can practice plopping it on top of the raised, elevated platform and see if we can lure him to target the mat. And of course, now the train's going by, which is a little bit overwhelming. So if let's say he does have a little bit of a moment where he's like, holy cow, guys, there goes the choo-choo again. Don't know if I love it. I might go into, again, some of those find-its just to help him not feel quite as stuck. Ready, Fritz? As he gets a little bit more comfy, I'm gonna try again, see if I can get him to do a little targeting. If he's not quite sure, I'm not gonna force it. Remember, if he's trying something brand new, ready, Fritz? I think some of those sounds have sort of thrown him off too. Like I mentioned earlier, there was the trash truck that had broken down in front of the center. So sometimes you'll have days where your babes are feeling cozy, really comfortable, ready to rumble. Other days where they're like, I'm putting in the towel, I've had enough for a day. So again, I don't want to force him to try something he's not feeling super comfortable, but I'm going to see if I can get him to notice the cheese, see if I can get him to maybe even eat off the target. Nice. So sometimes you have to lower your criteria. So if your criteria is set at too high of a bar, you may find that your babe might always never reach the scenario that you were hoping for. So if we make it so hard that our puppies have a really hard time, yes, nice job, so we got a foot and he's eating off the little mat, and now we got the whole front end on there, beautiful. So you may want to just go slow enough where your puppy has the chance to reboot, or slow enough that they have the chance to try to compute and understand what you're looking for, yes. So now again, we're getting him to go on to this lovely target. Even if it's partial or not completely, no big deal. I want him to think there's a benefit in giving anything new a shot. So especially if we're having sometimes little moments, I know his neighbor behind him just coughed and he says, holy cow, that was a loud cough, a little bit spooky. So obviously with Mr. Handsome, we don't want to force situations for either of the boys that are practicing here. But we do want to help them sometimes bounce back. So even if your babe doesn't completely get back to where they were first at their most comfortable, we also want to make sure that we're still slowly progressing, even if we are at times trying something that might be a little bit harder. So again, we're going to see if we can get those paws up, yes, and feed for that response. That was really nice. So I'm going to try again. Ready? So right now again, guys, I am lowering them, yes, and marking the moment he was correct. He's a little concerned as to what's happening next door because my little one is off in the distance doing her own thing, playing. Oh, chewing is optional. Same thing with Mr. R. Sometimes chewing is hard, yes. So you'll see that for right now, I've used this cover, so the flat target on top of my raised platform. Let's say maybe he's doing so nicely, I might take the cover, or for example, the flat target off, and then try and see if I can lure Mr. Handsome onto the lovely rubber. There we go, yes. I'm gonna feed him for that lovely foot, and then now we've got 2 feet on there. So I like to sometimes do what's called a jackpot. A jackpot is where you feed one snack after the other. So your puppy, instead of getting a handful or getting one big snack, gets several little snacks while being on the sort of platform or while doing a certain behavior or skill. So a jackpot can start to build value into the behavior or skill set you're working on. Try to envision every behavior or skill. So like for example, your sits versus your downs versus recall. Those are all cues, so sort of skills he could work on. Then there's also behavior, so feeling safe, feeling confidence, sometimes capturing moments where he looks at something and doesn't get overwhelmed, or he looks at something and he bounces back and checks in with you. So each one of these things is having a bank account. So if your puppy, he's like, how about we go fully over the bowl? That's a nice sit on the bowl. So if, for example, your puppy is not super sure about certain behavior, it could be that that behavior has very few deposits into that account. So if, let's say, recalls are not their strong suit, it could be that recall has not been given enough reinforcement to make it seem of value. So if you start adding more deposits that your pup finds appealing, so valuable to the puppy, you're going to start to increase the likelihood of that behavior or skill happening, because the fact of the puppy now associating that behavior is having a really nice, again, paycheck associated, right? So we're going to try again with our little paws up. Again, he tends to want to come from that side, whichever side he prefers, I don't care. The main goal right now is we're getting some really nice paws or step up behaviors. We want our babes to start thinking that sometimes placing our feet onto an item is not always really overwhelming or scary. This can be very helpful, as I mentioned, for when we were practicing with Roy. Doing a paws up or step up can be really beneficial for getting your puppy on the scale at the vet's office, hopping in and out of your vehicle. Ready? So that way your puppy or dog can start to get more fluid with using their front end and their back end. Eventually this can also turn into pivoting, which we can get into later. Nice job, sir. So we're doing a little find it, and we'll end it on a good note for Mr. Handsome doing those paws up. Nice job. What a good job, sir. Nice work.